Imagine this. It's 1943. You're a young American pilot in the South Pacific. The air is hot, you're exhausted, and one date won't leave your mind. One morning, your commander walks in and says, "Today's mission is simple. You're going to shoot down the man who planned Pearl Harbor." Today, I want to tell you a story that sounds like a movie, but it actually happened. It's the story of how the United States tracked down the Japanese admiral who planned Pearl Harbor and sent a small group of pilots on a secret mission to bring him down. This operation had a name, Operation Vengeance, and at the center of it all, there was one man, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. So who was he? Yamamoto wasn't just any officer. He was the mastermind behind the attack on Pearl Harbor, a brilliant naval strategist. He had studied in the United States. He understood its power, and still he chose to strike first. On the other side, you got people we rarely picture when we think of war. Not just soldiers, but code breakers in cramped rooms, headphones on, listening to enemy radio signals. Analysts staring at streams of numbers, trying to turn them into words. And fighter pilots, the ones who would actually pull the trigger. And then there are the people at home. American families watching burning ships on newsreels. Japanese families with sons and husbands in uniform. People who would never meet, but whose lives would be shaped by what happened next. So what actually happened? This mission didn't start with guns. It started with a message. The Japanese military sent out a coded radio transmission. Inside that code were Yamamoto's exact travel plans, the day he would fly, the time he would take off, the route his plane would follow. They believed their code was unbreakable. It wasn't. American codebreakers cracked it. Suddenly, the United States knew almost everything. Where he would be, when he would be there, and that he would be in the air, vulnerable. Now imagine being in that room when the message is decoded. On one hand, it's just data on paper. On the other, it's the man behind Pearl Harbor. Do you turn this into a mission? Do you send pilots to kill him? By now, it's April 1943. Pearl Harbor had happened a year and a half earlier. The Pacific War was brutal. Young men were dying on islands most people had never heard of. And the anger from Pearl Harbor still burned. So when this opportunity appeared, it wasn't just another military decision. For many Americans, it felt personal. It felt like justice. Now, let's talk about where this happened. Not over Pearl Harbor, not over Tokyo. The key locations were three names on a map: Rabaul, a major Japanese base; Bougainville, the island Yamamoto planned to visit; and Guadalcanal, the American base where the fighters took off. The distance was enormous. The American pilots flew low over the ocean for hours, at the very edge of their fuel range, just to be in the right place at the exact right minute. Miss it by minutes, he's gone. Get spotted early, you're dead. Run out of fuel, you don't come home. So how did they pull it off? They used the P-38 Lightning, a twin-engine fighter with the range to make the mission possible. The pilots were told they were hunting a high-value target. Not all of them were told it was Yamamoto. Some only learned after they returned. They flew low over the waves, avoiding detection, following a route calculated down to the minute. Then, at exactly the right moment, they climbed. Ahead of them, two Japanese bombers, escorted by fighters. Yamamoto was believed to be in one of them. The Americans attacked. One bomber was hit, engines smoking, losing altitude, vanishing into the jungle below. The other bomber escaped. Later, search teams found the crash site. Bodies scattered, wreckage everywhere. Under a tree, still in uniform, still wearing white gloves, it was Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. For Americans, the news was explosive, though the real story stayed secret for years. For Japan, it was devastating. They hadn't just lost an admiral, they had lost their top strategist. So why does this story still matter? On the surface, it's about revenge. The man behind Pearl Harbor was hunted down. For many people, it felt like balance, like history had answered back. But look deeper. Is targeting one leader in war justice or assassination? Does it save lives or extend the cycle of violence? And remember, this all began with intelligence, with information. Today, we talk about hacking, cyber warfare, data leaks. The idea is the same. Information can be as powerful as weapons. So how does this connect to us? Most of us will never fly fighter jets or crack enemy codes, but we all understand revenge. Someone hurts us, betrays us, humiliates us, and part of us wants payback. Operation Vengeance is a war story, but it's also a human story about anger, justice, and consequences. So here's the question. If you were the one making the decision back then, and you knew exactly where Yamamoto would be and when, would you have approved of the mission? Think about it.